Today we're going to be looking at the Philips Hue Motion Sensor, why it's a fantastic IoT accessory, and how I used it to cure myself of sleepwalking. Let's dive in. The Philips Hue Motion Sensor is an accessory made by Philips that integrates perfectly into their Philips Hue ecosystem. It integrates using all models of the Philips Hue Bridge and uses the smartphone application for customization. The device uses passive infrared technology to detect motion up to 16.5 feet away with a 100-degree detection angle. Because the device uses infrared, it does not rely on the amount of light in the room to be effective. It comes with a magnetic wall mount that allows you to adjust it to the precise angle and has a battery that is said to last between 2 to 3 years. While the wall mount is available, I personally don't use it. I just set it on the top of my dresser and it works perfectly. Much of the functionality of this device comes from its programmability within the Philips Hue app. One first has the ability to select which room or rooms will be activated when motion is detected. One can then select actions to be taken by the lights in the time period during which the sensors will be active. If the sensor is active for multiple rooms, different actions can be programmed for each individual room during both daytime and nighttime. One can then set the action to take place when no motion is detected after a set period of time on a per room basis, either to turn the lights back off or leave them on. And last, sensitivity of both daylight and motion can be adjusted to account for the conditions of your home. Now, I bought this device for a very specific application, and for that it has worked perfectly. The only downside is you have to have Wi-Fi active, and if you have spotty Wi-Fi in your home, it might break the connection and you could run into some potential issues. That said, the high levels of programmability have allowed me to customize this device to achieve exactly the end that I purchased it for, and it has worked flawlessly. On that note, I'd like to share a pretty crazy piece of my story and how this device has changed my life. In college, I started sleepwalking and sleepwalking chronically for the last 8 years or so. I started researching and trying to figure out how I could cure this, and I tried herbs, different stress management techniques. Nothing really online ever shared how I could fix this, and so I started engineering it. I hypothesized that if I could reprogram my brain somehow to tell it that sleepwalking was negative, then maybe it would stop, kind of like muscle memory in some senses. Most people don't realize too that sleepwalking can actually be pretty dangerous, and something like this happens. So, I already had Philips Hue lights, and I developed this new theory that with the Philips Hue sensor, I could possibly train my mind to no longer sleepwalk when the lights would kick on during sleepwalking. It's a weird theory, I know, but I already had Philips lights, and all I had to do was buy one of these sensors, and from there I could get after it. So, I programmed all the lights in my apartment to kick on from the hours of 11 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. anytime this motion sensor tracked any motion. I also set it up so that I would have to manually go and turn the lights off just to ensure that I wouldn't turn the lights off in my sleep. And this required me to actually go into my phone and turn it off. So I had to unlock my phone, go to the settings, and then turn it off. And this ensured that it woke me up every time and I knew that I was in fact sleepwalking. As a side note, I also wanted to make sure that I changed no other lifestyle habits to isolate this and make sure that this was indeed the thing that was helping me. In my first night, the sensor went off twice. And I have to say, I was in the middle of a dream, and it scares you to death when you wake up in your family room standing and you have no idea what just happened. For the rest of the week, it went off every single night, but it gradually became less jarring, and it seemed that even in my sleep, I knew that I was going to somehow wake myself up if I were to start sleepwalking. And then it was crazy. After about 10 days, it just stopped. It didn't happen again. It was done. It's now been about 3 weeks, and I have not sleptwalked a single time, and I've had this sensor active every single night. It has not gone off, and I know for a fact that I have not sleptwalked for 3 weeks in a row. I honestly can't express how happy I am to have found a cure for this in the most unlikely of places. A lot of websites tell you that it's diets, stress, or other things, while my hypothesis was that I could simply reprogram my brain and tell it not to sleepwalk anymore, and it seems to have worked, at least for the time being. This is all even more discouraging when you think about sleepwalking at a friend or family's house, and I really wanted to cut this out of my life before going to visit family again soon, and the Philips Hue sensor was the thing that actually made it stop. So that's my story with Philips Hue. It's been life-changing in the most weird of ways, but the sensor has been very impactful for me, and I recommend it for just normal use or for a crazy creative use like what I used it for. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching my video. If this was helpful, if you'd enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give me a big fat thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one.